on immigration in America. Let me just ask you before the audience, which Republican candidate is closer to your philosophy on immigration?
Well, none have it exactly, but they haven't read my book yet.
They know you. They know how you think. What's
interesting now is Scott Walker is the first one of the announced candidates to come out and say he wants to protect American jobs and American livelihoods. And it's as if, until this moment, all the Republican candidates have agreed, okay, none of us will take steroids. Now that he's said it, that screws all of the rest of them. And, I mean, I think he'll be the candidate unless my law...
So you will be supporting him?
Back in. Yeah, oh yeah, and I like Romney, and I mean, obviously none of them have my position, but again, they haven't read the book yet. I think I'll persuade them that we need an immediate immigration moratorium and end the anchor baby nonsense. But Romney had the self-deportation position, which was as better than any other Republican.
He got 27% like Hispanic vote and lost.
And Ronald Reagan won the smallest percentage of the minority vote and won the largest electoral landslide in history. So Republicans don't listen to Jorge Ramos and How to Win. Listen to Ann Coulter. It's in the second to last chapter.
How about Jeff Bush, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz? Do you like them?
Well, no, obviously not Rubio or Jeb Bush, nor do other Republicans. I understand the Democrats and the media are quite fond of them. And as for Cruz, I mean, he's making some good noises now, but he said some terrible things about amnesty in the past, so no.
So those are my questions. Let's listen from the audience. Jose Machado, go ahead.
A road I call Miami. It's beautiful and thriving. It happened in elementary school after reciting the Pledge of Allegiance that I realized that I was an American, that I was one of my classmates. Then later I discovered that I was actually undocumented. At what point, Anne, did you realize that you were an American?
I've always been an American. It's like, when did I realize I'm a girl? When did I realize I'm from Connecticut? When did I realize I have two older brothers? It's just been a part of my sense. But I wanted to check, are you still undocumented, as you say? Because I want to get Sheriff Joe on the line.
No, I'm not. But I realized that I was a boy when my private part was different than my sister's. So there's things that we see that this makes us different. So
what would you think? I mean, if you're proud of being an American, what would you think of the fact, as I have in my book, and I assume you guys haven't read my book yet, but I hope you will. What would you think of the fact that Carter judges started presiding over citizenship ceremonies conducted in Spanish?
Well, I speak both languages, so I'm good. I don't know about you.
So you don't care then?
No, I mean, I
American citizenship. Okay. But I'll definitely call
the reality is that my mom was deported, and because she was deported, I ended up getting papers. So this is the messed up system that we have.
Okay, well, I'm thinking that we really want citizens who are speaking English and love the country with such an emotional intensity described by Justice Brandeis that you would react in horror at the fact that citizenship ceremonies are being conducted in foreign languages.
Thank you very much.
Next question, Sloan, go ahead.
Hello, Anne. Thank you for taking my question. I'd just like to butter you up for a second and say that no matter what kind of political party you're affiliated with, I think we can all agree that you have really great hair. And now we'll move on to my question. Okay, so you've stated that a woman should have a right to an abortion because the unborn child is the product of someone's illegal actions. And I wholeheartedly agree.
What?
I've read that quote online.
You know what? I've never said that, and we're really talking about the book today.
Okay, well, I'm getting to the book
But
question.
I've never said that. You're reading some crazy webpage.
I was reading your webpage, which is a crazy webpage.
I said a woman has a right to an abortion because it's the product of an illegal act. I promise you I've never said that.
I mean, you can give me your email address afterwards. I can send it to you. Do you want to hear that?
What's your question?
So my question is, I do agree that women should have the right to an abortion.
No, I've never said that.
Okay, if it's a... Anyway.
You're using a joke webpage.
Using that logic... So do you think that children of undocumented immigrants should be denied in-state tuition because of someone else's illegal actions?
I gather you're saying that because, what about the children? It's not. Look, anybody any parent breaking the law is going to be a problem for the child. Those Enron executives, their children have suffered horribly. Should we just say, oh no, we can't put the Enron executives in prison. Those BP officials, if they have to pay those huge fines, their children will suffer, and it's not the children's fault. I'm sorry, when people break the law, there are consequences for the kids. It is whenever parents break the law. Oh, well.
Gaby Pacheco, next question.
slightly taller. So my first question is, can I give you a hug?
I wouldn't today. I'm recovering from the worst flu I've ever had.
It's okay. I'll take your gifts. This undocumented immigrant who has lived in this nation for almost 22 years wants to, as a sign of my humanity and yours, recognize you and say, can I give you a hug?
No, let's get on with the question.
Okay. Thank you. So, and Joe Arpaio gave me a hug, by the way. There is freedom of speech, and then there's also hate speech. And I wholeheartedly believe in our First Amendment right. But many of the things you say on TV, on the radio, in your books, not only do they incite fear, they also incite hate. And so I wanted to ask you if you feel you're abusing your First Amendment rights, and do you think legitimately that what you are saying is right?
Well, 2 points. One is you don't understand the Constitution if you say there's free speech, and then on the other hand, there's hate speech.
No, I know that under the law of the Constitution,
the question, and then you'll step away and we'll take the next one.
Hate speech, and you don't have the right.
And thank you all for coming here today. She's about to finish her speech. No, there is speech. There's not speech and hate speech. And judging by the last question, apparently you people can't tell the difference in what I've actually said and some crazy parody site, because I don't know what you're thinking is hate speech. I don't engage in hate speech. I engage in speech. And yes, it's part of the long Anglo-Saxon tradition of thinking that free speech and the contest of ideas, the truth will emerge. It goes back to John Stuart Mill.
I think the people that are standing here will agree with me.
Of a place like America,
some of the things that you've been saying and continue to say is spewing hate speech.
Next question, Ray Lastre.
You don't have a tradition of John Stuart Mill.
Last question. Go ahead, Ray.
Hi, and how are you? I don't necessarily disagree with your views. I am a conservative, so I'm proud of that. And there's a lot of candidates, and here in Florida, we have Senator Marco Rubio, for example. I like the senator. I was upset with him on his view on the whole immigration debacle. But, thinking forward, could you see yourself supporting him in a general election? Have we not have, another candidate? And why the dislike? I think that he's a great candidate, and we have, as a Cuban American, I think I'm so proud of having Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, people of Cuban blood, being able to get there,
Well, I'm going to keep bringing the questions back to my book. And again, I say this is not, glad you're a conservative, happy to have you here, hope you vote Republican, but this blood thing, not really an American Anglo-Saxon tradition. This is a problem, and that's why the Democrats are insistent on dumping all of these very different cultures on America, because they can get people to vote on the basis of blood. That is not how Anglo-Saxons vote. Not at all. No, and we have third worlders voting in tribal ways. If we had gotten 71% of the Hispanic vote, Mitt Romney still would have lost. If he had gotten about 5% more of the white vote, he would have won. So Republicans better wake up and for the first time in, my lifetime, appeal to white Americans for votes. No one says to a white person who votes Democrat, you voted against your race. But you do get that with all of the ethnic groups coming in. Once Democrats discovered the joys of racial politics, it was over.
Yeah, I think the word Hispanic and Latino in itself, it serves to divide instead of unite us as Americans. So thank you so much for being here.
And so do you think that if Republican candidates follow what you think, they're going to lose the Hispanic vote and they'll lose the White House again?
No, they will win, as I just said, and I describe again for idiot Republicans who believe that. Please just read the very short second to last chapter. I wrote it after going to a dinner party with a bunch of rich Republicans, and I realized they knew absolutely nothing. I turned my book in, I came home, and in a moment of rage wrote up, rich people are busy, they're making money. I'm not. I'm busy reading Nexus reports, so I went through the actual results of, for example, Proposition 187, when California had about the same demographics as America does now. I went through Ronald Reagan, who got the smallest percentage of the minority vote of any Republican between LBJ and Obama, and that was the biggest electoral landslide in history. The way for Republicans to win is to follow the Ronald Reagan model, and rich people don't have to read obsessively Nexus, but they do have to hang on my every word if they're not going to do that.
One last question. You asked for that on Twitter. Tell me anything new that is not known generally, that it's in the book.
Well, obviously you brought one up. 30 million illegals, not 11.
It's 11. It's 11 now, not 30 million.
More Nigerians than English since the 1970 immigration law. Oh, that the people who passed the 1965 immigration law, Teddy Kennedy, the rest of the Democrats, they swore up and down it would not change the ethnic composition of this country. This has been the most dramatic, historic ethnic change to any nation in world history. And this is without lying to the American people and without even consulting the American people on it, which is why I'm particularly enraged at the idea that I can see every night on MSNBC enthusiasm about, oh, the browning of America, the browning of America. But if I say, I don't like what you've done, oh, that's racist.
No, but don't you think it's better that this is a stronger, don't you think this is a stronger nation because it's more diverse, more tolerant?
It's not more diverse, it's more Mexican.
I think it's more diverse, much more diverse.
No, it
in 2044, minorities will be the majority.
But it isn't diverse.
I think diversity is just fantastic.
No, you
I
don't.
think diversity is beautiful.
All Mexican.
No. I think we're just arguing for more diversity and more tolerance in this country.
We have taken in 1/4 of the entire Mexican population. At what point will we have taken in enough, in your view?
I think that with a legal system,
the entire Mexican population.
No, I think with a legal system, we wouldn't need, and we wouldn't be having hundreds of people dying crossing the border.
That isn't an answer to the question. 1/4 of the Mexican population. How much?
Because it's an economic situation. As long as you have people here who need immigrants and workers, and as long as you have workers needing a job, they're going to be coming here. It's an economic situation.
Workers who are subsidized by the middle class.
Adios, America. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. And thanks so much for joining us. And thanks to our studio audience. Adios, America will be available in hardcover June 1st. And be sure to check our hashtag #AnsAmerica. More on America after the break.